Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. And we're on the verge about 2 years from now, Larson, less than 2 years, about a year and a half from having the greatest charity stream of all time here at Going in Raw, because that's right, Saudi Arabia is getting their own Wrestlemania. And it's not just a Wrestlemania, it's the Wrestlemania. They're actually doing, you know, we'd figured maybe, just maybe, they would just sort of give them a Wrestlemania. They like do another Wrestlemania during the year.
Yeah, because there have been the rumors to that effect that they were going to have a year with two manias. One, WrestleMania. The other, perhaps, Super WrestleMania.
Or the greatest WrestleMania.
Yeah, but seemingly they might try to make it the greatest WrestleMania if Dave Meltzer be believed. Anyways, let's get into the details here. All right. Figured it was going to happen at some point. It seems like it's probably official. As you mentioned, Saudi Arabia is getting WrestleMania. PW Insider reported on Wednesday, that was yesterday, quote, earlier today there was a press release issued in Arabic that WrestleMania 43 would be held in Saudi Arabia in 2027. The press release was yanked shortly after it went out, as it was apparently set out accidentally before it was scheduled to be publicly issued. PW Insider can confirm, however, that the story is 100% legitimate. An announcement is coming very soon, bringing WrestleMania to an international location outside of North America for the first time ever. Fightful Select reported that Turkey
Al-Sheikh,
thank you. The chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority said in a Snapchat video, quote, we are announcing that for the first time WrestleMania will take place outside of America. WrestleMania will be coming to Saudi Arabia in 2027. So Fightful Select reached out to WWE for official confirmation on the record, but no response as of the publication of their report. One higher up, though, I guess off the record, in WWE did mention to Fightful that, quote, where there's smoke, there's fire. I can't help but think about JFK when I hear that.
It's John Candy JFK quote. Yeah.
And added that, quote, Triple H's comments about inspiring change this week may have prefaced an incoming announcement. I guess Triple H said that on the Pat McAfee show. Others Fightful spoke to say that there is an announcement planned to take place this Friday. That's tomorrow. In Las Vegas regarding WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. So what can we expect from the show?
Well, I'll take this one because according to those other guys over at the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer, no expense will be spared to fill the card with dream matches. This is what Dave has to say. They're putting up an incredible amount of money, a ridiculous amount of money. And the idea is to present the most star-studded show ever by far. Everyone, anyone. Hold on, wait a second. Money is no object. Yes, Larson, you now have a question.
So if the rumors in the past are correct that Saudi Arabia wanted deceased wrestlers on the card, are they sparing no expense to reanimate the dead?
How far has stem cell technology come, Larson? Are we able to inject the corpses of Yokozuna, Ultimate Warrior? You know, are we able to revive them? Is this a reanimator situation by 2027? Maybe cloning technology. They're already cloning luchadors in AEW.
Yeah, cloning seems more likely than reanimation, yes.
You know, I don't know. He says this. He continues on. Any name you can imagine, obviously, they're going to be after. I assume, again, this is us. I assume any name that is living, but he doesn't specify.
Yeah, there's no specification here, no.
He says, I presume it's the only WrestleMania of that year, but when I first heard, one of the ideas was to do a 2 WrestleMania year one year, so that way it keeps the American fans not upset about Saudi Arabia. But I think perhaps the deal is also that as Saudi Arabia has become more and more normalized, it appears that the outrage that probably would have been there even a year or two ago probably won't be. I hardly saw any today, but we'll see. Let's pause there really quickly because he does speak to, you know, back when this deal was in its infancy, when they were starting out, I believe, in 2018. There was plenty of outrage because, at least online, because everybody sort of, we all realize what the Saudi Arabian government has been up to, covering up, what they do on the human rights front with, hey, look at the razzle dazzle of what we got going on over here. It's called sports washing.
Sports washing, yes.
That they use. And yeah, I mean, to a degree, we've sort of, every Saudi Arabia show, and Rumble will be no different. WrestleMania will be no different. We're going to have a Tiltify links for some charity that we decide on. And the Friendos, hopefully will open up their wallets and donate to a good cause. But the shows are canon at this point for content creators who cover WWE. It's just become a thing. It's like, hey, this is what they're doing. We all know what they're doing. We all recognize what they're doing, but this is what they do.
Yeah, and this past WrestleMania was roughly 8 hours, spread out over 2 days of basically nonstop corporate integration into the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in 2 years' time, we're going to get that, plus a whole lot of sports washing.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good point. I mean, they do this every Saudi show, but given that this is WrestleMania, you got to think they're probably going to go overboard with the, look at
their most viewed show of the year.
Yeah. Oh, look at what great things we're doing here. So, yeah, I mean, and I don't know, obviously, whether it's our own bubble or the greater internet wrestling community bubble that we exist in, I know that there is, there's still this conversation ongoing, but to the larger WWE audience, obviously there's going to be fans out there who are like, well, geez, I really wanted to go to this and now I can't, because it's not going to be in Vegas, which seems to be like the WrestleMania residency of the United States these days. And it's not going to be in a location that's easily accessible to American fans. We're going to talk about ticket prices here in a second. But, and that might be, it might be a situation where, your normal fans are going to be priced out of shit like this anyways.
That seems to be the goal of TKO, yes.
Seems to be, yeah. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. I think that, everybody just sort of recognizes, well, that this is what it is and this is where it's at. I mean, it was the awkward. It was sort of like whatever for the longest time. And then CM Punk comes along and just has the most awkward encounter in Saudi Arabia with a fellow named Muhammad, which seemed like maybe staged. I don't know. But it was awfully awkward. And that sort of drew some more, spotlight, at least in our circles. But the greater WWE fan base, besides the time change, if you weren't planning on going, I don't know how much outrage there is to have about this. I just don't know. If
yeah,
it's
it'd be
on
interesting
radar.
if the outrage directed towards this show is more so, why isn't WrestleMania in America?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
you know what I mean, as opposed to, WWE is sports washing for the Saudi government.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like for us, obviously, we do charity streams for every one of these Saudi shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've made our feelings abundantly clear about how we feel about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, as content creators who focus on pro wrestling, and if you do pro wrestling content and you want to make a living doing that, you got to talk about WWE.
Yeah. And I don't know. I like, especially, in light of recent stuff, like with Brock Lesnar and stuff like that, it did sort of reframe, or I guess make me, we did a whole bonus episode on this. It just, reinforced the fact that just because we covered, it's not an endorsement of what they do. Their business practices are their business practices. They're going to live or die based on those business practices. And we try to do what we can in terms of, hey, you know what? This is a good opportunity for us to do it a charity stream, but we cover the product. We're not the product. So, it is what it is.
We have no hand in creating the wrestling product.
We've been plenty critical of the WWE, and then when they do cool creative shit, we say good things, I guess. But in any event, let's talk about this here.
This is interesting.
Fightful also included another interesting detail in their report. that WWE is looking to establish the latest, greatest premium live event, WrestlePalooza, as a major brand so that the company can, quote, help spread out major global events and land more site fees and create events that locations were willing to bid on. Speaking of WrestlePalooza, it seems like WWE/TKO have high hopes for the show to become an ongoing franchise on par with the Big Four. TKO COO Mark Shapiro said during Wednesday's Goldman Sachs Communicopia?
Yeah.
It's a Communicopia?
That's what they call it, buddy.
And technology conference. Get rid of the boring technology conference. Just call it the Goldman Sachs Communicopia. The technology conference aspect of it should be baked in. Anyways, this is what Mr. Shapiro had to say, and these transcripts come to you via WrestlingNews.co.
Oh, so I think it's sorry, I got the title. His title wrong. It's TKO President, I believe.
TKO President. Okay. Says hopefully WrestlePalooza is a winner, and we can bring that back annually because that could just be a marketing bonanza for us if we do that right. Triple H is spending night and day. I like that he refers to him as Triple H and not Paul Levesque.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H is the King of Kings, is spending night and day creatively around making that what we think it can be, which is another WrestleMania or another SummerSlam. Those two stand out above the rest. Royal Rumble is right beneath that, and we think WrestlePalooza can get into that quadrant. They love that word, quadrant. Where's Survivor Series? Poor Survivor Series got left out, with the other chumps in the premium live event schedule.
Confirmed. Survivor Series, B-level pay-per-view, yeah.
It's basically another backlash, that Survivor Series.
Essentially, they seemingly can have in a stadium. So is WrestlePalooza now going to be the consolation prize when some places get WrestleMania?
So it's an indie this year, right?
Yeah, it's in a basketball arena too. And if you want WrestlePalooza to be in the same quadrant as WrestleMania and SummerSlam and the Rumble, you can't have it in a mere arena. If you want it to be in that quadrant, you got to upscale the venue to a stadium.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
How many nights is WrestleMania?
2.
How many nights is SummerSlam?
2.
How many nights is WrestlePalooza?
1.
You got that right. Therefore, it is not in the same quadrant.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know, like squeezing another Big Four level show in between SummerSlam, which happens in August, and I mean, dude, I don't know. Evidently, they are leaving Survivor Series out, so ideally you'd want a slot right in the middle between SummerSlam and the Rumble, which is War Games, which is Survivor Series. So they have that slot, but now they're trying to make WrestlePalooza a thing. Maybe I wonder if it's possible they're considering Survivor Series more War Games than anything now, and they're just like, oh, this is like kind of their Hell in a Cell. It's like, well, War Games is a very specific thing that is always going to be at Survivor Series, and so it's less flexible in terms of we can have major marquee one-on-one blow-off matches at Survivor Series. Survivor Series exists now as War Games, which is basically a plot point. It's not a blow-off. Maybe that's the case. Maybe because that is such a specific gimmick that they're thinking we need something that can act as a proper blow-off. I mean, that creatively speaking, that's kind of maybe what they're aiming at. I still say it's a great name. WrestlePalooza is a winner name. Let me ask you this. This is really an aside.
All right.
Should Lollapalooza start locking down that Palooza aspect of other people using the Palooza thing? Like, without Lollapalooza, there'd be no WrestlePalooza.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I don't know how far you can go in trademarking Paloozas, though.
I mean, WWE is obviously trademarked. I know they had to make an arrangement with some First Wrestling or some other indie promotion.
Yeah.
Because they were using it, and ECW had it as well. But you got to think Lollapalooza might be like, hey, wait a second. But I don't know. That's neither here.
I don't know either because they're different silos of entertainment.
Yeah, sure.
It's not verbatim the same name, so I don't know. I just don't know what kind of legal standing Lollapalooza would have.
Like, where did Lollapalooza get the Palooza aspect of their name from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to ask Perry Farrell that, probably.
Questions. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, we're going to talk more about what Mr. Shapiro had to say about ticket prices, because those are only going to get worse as well, because everything just gets worse these days. But we've got some sponsors for this show, Larson, so let's go ahead and talk about the sponsors.
Let's do it. This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, we can turn to some unexpected places for advice, whether it's your local barkeeper, barista, or hairdresser. We've all probably turned to people in our communities to talk about what's on our minds.
Yeah, that's true, man. And as productive as those conversations can be, when you're looking for help with your relationships, anxiety, depression, or other clinical issues, they may not provide the right answers. Instead, get some guidance from a credentialed therapist online with BetterHelp.
You know, about 20 years ago, I had to go to therapy to get treatment for severe anxiety. And back then, looking for the right therapist could be a frustrating and time-consuming process. But BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. All you have to do to get started is fill out a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences. And BetterHelp's 10-plus years of experience in industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they typically get it right the first time. But if you aren't happy with your initial match, you can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost.
Plus, BetterHelp is completely online. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button so you can fit therapy into your busy schedule. And you can pause your subscription whenever you need to.
As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/raw. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. And this episode is sponsored by Tempo. Kids are back to school, and that means our schedules just got a whole lot busier. Also means we got less time to plan nutritious meals for ourselves and our families.
Well, Larson, instead of turning to fast food, turn to Tempo. Tempo serves up fast, feel-good, single-serving meals, which takes all the guesswork out of eating well and are crafted to cook in just 3 minutes so you can fuel yourself without sacrificing your health or your valuable free time.
Tempo also offers up 20 meal options each week, like braised wine beef and Sunday sauce meatballs that are made with real, nutrient-rich ingredients so it's easy to keep up with your healthy lifestyle. Steve, you know me.
I do.
I need to get my protein in every day. And Tempo is a great option because they offer a range of meals for different dietary preferences, including fiber-rich, carb-conscious, protein-packed options.
Yeah. For a limited time, Tempo is offering our listeners 60% off your first box. So go to tempomeals.com/raw. That's tempomeals.com/raw for 60% off your first box. tempomeals.com/raw. Rules and restrictions may apply.
And this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Brooklyn Betting. Steve, how many times have I mentioned to you, either before we start the show or during the show or when we go out and play basketball, that I'm feeling tired, lethargic, unenergetic, short on motivation, and generally short on quality sleep.
Pretty much 365 days a year, buddy.
You got that right. And every 365 days is another year. And as I've gotten older, the more I've learned to value and appreciate a good night's rest. Yet, with each passing year, with every 365 days, it seems like I get less sleep and worse sleep. Like literally, most mornings I wake up, something hurts. Sometimes it's my neck, sometimes my hip, sometimes my back, sometimes for some reason my ankles are stiff. I don't get it. And I'm not sure it's part of getting old, or maybe me in my bed over here just aren't a good match.
Look, man, I feel you, but I got an idea. Maybe, just maybe, Brooklyn Betting can help you out, Larson. You see, Brooklyn Betting knows that sleep isn't one size fits all. Nah. Which is why they offer mattresses for every body and every sleep style. Yeah. And if you're not sure what mattress is right for you, just take Brooklyn Betting's sleep quiz and you'll find your perfect match in under 2 minutes. We just went through that process with my boy Devin, and he's been sleeping like a log on the Aurora Lux cooling mattress that we got for him. But if he changes his mind within 120 nights, Brooklyn Betting's comfort trial will allow him to return or swap it hassle-free.
So go to brooklynbetting.com and use promo code RAW at checkout to get 30% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. That's brooklynbetting.com, promo code RAW for 30% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so we know that we sent you. brooklynbetting.com, promo code RAW.
All right, man. Oh, boy. You know, one of the questions we get here at the show every once in a while is people saying, hey, Steven Larson, how about some prognostication? Are ticket prices ever going to go down? Well, if this Mark Shapiro fella has anything to say about it, nah. So at this Goldman Sachs Communicopia, I want to go to that, man. That's going to be my new WrestleMania. I want to go to the Communicopia.
Every quote I've read from that just seems like it's an infuriating experience unless you're like a CEO.
Hey, wait a second. Can't we be CEOs of Going in Raw? I want to go there and talk about what quadrant we could be in.
I don't want to use the word quadrant. All right.
What quadrant are we in? One, two, 3, or 4? Delta quadrant?
There would be 4 quadrants because quad means 4. You're right about that.
We need a wormhole to the gamma quadrant. Anyways, so he said this about TKO's strategy regarding WWE ticket prices. This son of a bitch. These transcripts.
This asshole.
This fucking capitalist. These transcripts come to you via Fightful. He says this. WWE is not where the UFC is yet on ticket yields. We have our work to do there. We've seen a meaningful increase as evidenced by the 59% margin we did in the second quarter.
Gosh.
Ticket sales and site fees play a big part in driving that. We know we have more room to go. Why do we know that? Because the UFC is breaking records everywhere they go. We know we have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing opportunity there. We see what we could do with the UFC, and we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield and advanced sales when it comes to on location on the WWE side. It's really working out well. This guy is giving Vince McMahon a face turn. He said, Vince McMahon, he was just doing it for the families who wanted to take their kids out on an affordable night out of entertainment and expose them.
Good tickets to a wrestling show at a reasonable price.
Yeah, he wanted to let families, these little kids, become WWE fans early and maybe future-proofing our business. No, I don't want to do that.
Nowadays,
Nowadays,
parents have to go to their kids and say, either get a college fund or you go to this wrestling show.
College?
You can't have both.
Maybe a trade school. Yeah, no, man. This guy, he's all about ring it. I wish just use the term, Mark. Just be like, listen, we haven't yet wrung every cent we can out of these fans. Jesus Christ. Here's the thing, man. And I saw, I think it was Jimmy Van from Fightful made this point on the socials, on the Twitters, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And he said, there's a big difference between the audiences of UFC and WWE.
Yes.
WWE, like, you see a lot of families there. That's your audience. That's the people that you're selling to. I don't know if it's realistic for WWE to go after the same demographic that UFC goes after.
They seem intent on wanting to, though.
Boy, they do.
In multiple quadrants, I guess, facets, however you want to put it. Like, they want, and I don't know if it's just simply corporate strategy or they think I'm trying to figure out how many business kind of buzzwords I can work into this.
Yeah.
The crossover, which is like 13% we had read at one point between UFC fans and WWE fans. But now that both those companies are under the same corporate umbrella, TKO, I wonder if they think, well, we own both companies. Why can't we bring pro wrestling fans to the UFC and vice versa? Here's the thing about UFC fans, though. They want to see people actually fight.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the big difference. Is the type of, this is what they can't get through their fucking heads, evidently.
I know.
It's different types of fans.
Yeah.
WWE is colorful characters with these, highly athletic, choreographed staged fights where good guys and bad guys, and then the good guys win. It's fucking Fantasyland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's escapism. That's what they take families there for. That's, by the way, you know, when WWE started scoring their billion-dollar deals, they had to get there by going PG. The entire point was, let's try to wring these families out of their money, but they understood that families only have so much because kids cost a lot of money. And so you're trying to get an audience that I don't even think this fucking audience exists, because what you said is exactly right. If you go to UFC, man, UFC fans, they are into the real fights. They want to see people get knocked the fuck out. And I'm cool with that. That shit's cool as hell when somebody gets knocked the fuck out. It's a lot of fun. My friend Mikey Omega always sends me the shit of like, oh, look at this guy getting knocked out. And then you see his arms go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wildly fun. Like, I don't watch UFC a lot. I understand the appeal. I used to watch it all the time. I just don't have the time or money because, boy, talk about ringing their fan base.
Gosh, it's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, it really is. And you never know what you're going to get. I mean, that's sort of the fun of, you know, the UFC stuff is like, oh, you might get a couple of banger matches. You might get a bunch of duds. I don't know. But it's different. And I just don't know, like, that 13% number is so low. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you going to, where's the audience? Where's the audience? Like, this isn't 1998 where you had college kids and a little bit older, maybe with some more disposable income. These days, college age kids ain't got no money. No. I mean, they're just trying to survive in this world, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know where these fans are going to be coming from.
I don't either. You know, I can't imagine that a whole lot of families go to UFC shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I highly doubt that. I don't.
I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't really watch UFC. But when I did, I don't remember seeing a whole lot of families.
Yeah.
Whereas for quite a while, that's been a large portion of WWE's live event fan base. It's families going to shows together, and if their strategy is intentionally to price them out, which seems to be the case, at least for anything resembling a decent seat at a reasonable price. You know, families, they're up in the nosebleeds. They still got to pay $200 to sit in the very back row of the upper deck. 5 years ago, I think it was, maybe a little bit longer than that, you can get, and it's still expensive, but compared to today, really reasonable. You could get front row at a WWE show, and at ringside, it was $500.
Yeah.
And I understand this is Madison Square Garden. It's New York. Front row for that show is $2,500 almost.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the.
That's what $10,000 for a family of four to go to that.
Yeah.
That is obscene.
Like, if you want to go to WWE Raw. Let me get rid of this one. I'm on the Ticketmaster site right now. If you want to go to Raw and get like not terrible tickets, like let's say you got two kids and you got, you know, let's say you're, what do they call it, a nuclear family, right? You got like two parents and two kids, right?
Yeah. So family of four in somewhere in the lower bowl. This is section 109 at Golden One Center, so it's kind of corner, like a little bit of corner, you know. Well, about $250 a piece.
And then if you go back to row J, so you're going back a little ways. You're looking at am I missing a ticket here? You're looking at $220 each. So you're looking at $1,000 plus like some fees, like here
plus
it
Ticketmaster
says,
fees and all that, and then you got to pay parking on top of that. And then if you want to get concessions, your kids are probably going to want some merch.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You're easily pushing $1,200.
Yeah. So okay, well, no, I got it down to $800. I don't know if this has fees on it or not, though.
There's a thing you can click that'll include fees automatically.
What's that?
When they show. So there's a thing, if it's not clicked, you can't click it. That'll show the prices with fees included on Ticketmaster.
Oh, okay.
But like 5 years ago, those were $50 seats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean,
that's what's wild about this, though. He's like, everybody's already complaining everybody's already complaining about ticket prices being too high. And he's like, they're not high enough.
We have a ways we can go with this, is what he's saying.
Yeah, he does.
More yields. He wants more yields.
He wants more yield. And we're like, yield. Stop, man.
Yield on the yields, yes.
The different yield. The stop. Yeah, I just don't know where they're going to get these fans from. Because, like, this is your audience. You spent, like, since, 2010 they went PG? 2009,
last 15
something like that?
years of their business operations have been focused on a product that appeals to the broadest possible audience. A product that anybody could watch and gain some measure of enjoyment from. And then you want to price them out of attending your live shows? Kind of still, in a lot of respects, the lifeblood of what you do. Because if you don't have an engaged audience there at these shows, guess what? Shows often fall flat.
Yeah, people who watch UFC, dude, I mean... Look, I know they're trying their damnedest with this Unreal, and maybe they've got like a 20-year plan to boost these yields. I doubt that they want to go that long with it. They want money now, like J.G. Wentworth. They want that money now. And, like, honestly, like UFC fans, I feel, and I'm not going to, this is a generalization, but whenever I have encountered a UFC fan, they still have that thing. Oh, WWE, the fake stuff. I like the real fighting. Which, hey, to each their own. Like, you don't dig the fake shit? Cool, right on. You don't want to buy into the silly comic book world of absurdist pro wrestling? That's fine. I get it. Trying to convert those people to WWE, though? Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yep.
You can put all the UFC style celebrities on WWE programming, and you're not going to get anywhere with that, man. Their stamp of approval does not mean shit.
Nope.
So I don't know. That's an uphill climb right there if I ever saw one.
Oh yeah, most definitely is.
Yeah.
Again, this is. I don't want to sound like a spinning record, but again, at a certain point, there's a breaking point that fans are going to have, and I don't know what it is yet. I think at the bottom line is they'll be able to find people willing to pay the prices they want to charge for these tickets, so long as the product is all right, competent. If there's any slip in terms of the quality of the creative, people will be like, why am I paying $2,000 to sit there and watch a show I don't enjoy?
I don't know what's going to come first.
Now, if they start charging $10,000 ringside for Raw, yeah, that's obviously a breaking point for, I would think, a lot of people.
I kind of feel like the attempt to move the ticket prices higher and higher, I think, is because they have been decent at keeping a certain level of creative, mainly via, it does. When you see the Jey Uso shit, it looks like a party and everybody's having a good time. They absolutely have been able to turn these characters into, hey, we've got a connection with the crowd. The crowd's going to come out and see us just do some cool shit, whoop some ass. But the prices can't continue just to rise, especially when there are indications that the economy is going to get worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where they're at 2 years from now. If we're going to be looking at this $500 ticket, $200 ticket at, what did I say? Section J, row 11.
Yeah, kind of the middle of the lower bowl. Yeah.
Right. Section 109, row J, seat 11, that $200 ticket. Is that going to go up to $400 tickets? And are they going to keep on selling as many of those as they are right now? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the big question.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll see. Anyways, now it's time for us to talk about what you want us to talk about. It's the world of professional wrestling news from the past week. Things that we might have missed. We asked the friendos to tell us, what do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
First up, Joe says Stevie Richards' comments about Kyle Fletcher belonging in NXT and how he needs someone to tell him how to work right. Say, Kyle Fletcher, act right.
I mean, he seems like he knows how to professional wrestle pretty darn well.
So I've sort of two thoughts about this one. And I was trying to make an analogy. I was trying to come up with an analogy in my head to something like movies, for example. Stevie Richards was in the industry for a very long time. The guy knows how to professionally wrestle. Kyle Fletcher debuted. I looked this up last night. He debuted 11 years ago. He's been wrestling for 11 years, which probably would have put him at what, like, I don't know, 15 or something when he started. Maybe there is something that Stevie Richards sees from a professional wrestler standpoint that I do not see. I am willing to concede that because I am not a professional wrestler. I only know what I like. And when I see Kyle Fletcher wrestle, I'm like, man, this guy knows what he's doing because his matches are awesome. They're entertaining. His promos are fucking off the hook great. I think he's got super charisma. I think they're continuing to build his character. If he were to leave AEW today, I don't know what WWE would plan for him. I don't know. Maybe they would put him in NXT. But in terms of getting the wrestling down, from my amateur eyes, I like what I see. I'm entertained by the guy. I always get up for Kyle Fletcher matches. I'm like, holy shit. Remember Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe? Holy shit.
Good shit.
That was a match and a half right there. So, you know, all respect to Stevie Richards. I kind of sometimes wonder if, you know, and being content creators ourselves as well, understanding that sometimes you got to clickbait it up a little bit. And so, yeah, Royce Isaacs, I noticed a tweet from his on Twitter the other day, and he was saying, you know, if this does not act like Stevie Richards didn't have a career that anybody would kill for. He was signed to major companies for like a long time. He's got every right to critique and criticize and analyze other wrestlers that he sees. And so I agree with that 1,000%. For my money, I love what I see from that dude. I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But that's for my money.
I have the full quote here. So that's what Stevie said. You know what he looks like to me? He looks like an eventual NXT superstar. He needs seasoning. He needs somebody to teach him how to work. He needs to up his game. He needs to know the psychology of when not to do stuff. He says, and unfortunately in AEW, I don't see anybody that's listened to that could do that. That used to be the Arn Andersons, the Dean Malenkos. You still have Jerry Lynn there. You have people there that can coach you, but I don't think because the culture of AEW is the more you do, the more over you'll get. But that's not true. That's why I say eventually he may move laterally or even down, then sign with NXT and be in WWE.
I would be interested in watching him, and maybe he did this in the video. I don't know. I saw that same quote, and Stevie Richards doesn't really come off like he's coming from like a bitter standpoint. He just comes off like this is his analysis. I would be interested, very interested, in watching him break down a match from a Kyle Fletcher or somebody else that I think is really good. And he's like, no, this is what he needs to work on. And this is what he's lacking. I'd be interested to know, you know, what that analysis would look like from a guy like Stevie Richards.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't necessarily take issue with what he said, but it seems like, and I haven't listened, I only read the transcript. I haven't watched the video. But if Stevie's looking at this through the prism of WWE's most successful company, therefore the WWE way of doing things is the best way of doing things, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, yeah, maybe.
Where there is obvious in the world of pro wrestling, people have gotten over, become incredibly famous, and made a lot of money in the wrestling world not doing things the WWE way.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, I don't think there is a right way to approach how you work. If you're safe, first and foremost, if your people you're in the ring with can trust you, that's like the most important thing. And how you work matches and how you put together matches, wrestling is an art form like any other. And you have, you know, all these tools at your disposal to tell a story. And just as like there's not a right way to write a book or a right way to make a movie, I don't necessarily think there's a right way per se to approach how you tell stories in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, which is why, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there are probably certain beats that
there's certain
make
conventions
sense
and certain beats that make sense, but in terms of, well, you have to slow down and you have to do this so people can like sink in the moment. Yeah, that works sometimes. That's a fair point sometimes. But if the idea is that you have to like in WWE approach, deliberately pace stuff, sometimes people don't work the best in that environment. Sometimes there's some wrestlers, like imagine like Kenny Omega having to work a WWE style match. He would be pulling his hair out. Like he could do it. He could probably do it really well. But so much, he talks about his experience training WWE developmental, and he couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
He was making fun of the idea of working a body part in one match I read. He worked over somebody's butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he thought it was just an old school and antiquated approach to do a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And do that exclusively. And I get that.
Yeah.
There's other stories to tell in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
But again,
I don't know.
I haven't listened to the full context of what Stevie said.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chow Weezy here says James Gunn originally had Batista. He had Dave in mind for Peacemaker instead of John Cena.
I think he would have. I think Cena is. I'm sort of like saving because I got to watch Superman still, and I'm like waiting for like me to have 2 hours where I can actually sit down. Lacey wants to watch it with me, and then I'm gonna get into Peacemaker after that. But I loved season 1. I loved what Cena did with the character. I think Batista would have been also just absolutely awesome. Hard to see anybody but Cena in that role, but Batista's great, and
Dave's awesome,
and I think he would have killed it.
I think so too. There's I can't think of a better word, kind of a robotic nature about John Cena that really works for Peacemaker. I haven't seen the whole show, but what I've seen, it just seems to really work, and he understands that, and he amplifies that kind of aspect of himself.
Yeah.
That really works. David Matushek here says MJF continuing his movie career by being cast for Violent Night 2.
I don't know what Violent Night what is.
I assume it's a horror movie that's holiday themed.
Seems like it. Violent Night. Oh. It's yeah, okay. I remember seeing this. It's got David Harbour in it. He plays like a.
That's the dude from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember the trailers for the first one.
Yeah.
Good for MJF. Good
Awesome
for him.
for
Apparently, his schedule coming up is crazy busy. Fightful had to think about how he's flying all over the place, and he just got married. MJF did so.
Yeah.
The champ here says Ollie Davis releasing a graphic novel.
I know
good
nothing about this.
I don't either, but good.
I don't know
good for
anything
Ollie.
about this. Yeah, that's awesome. I tried to look up. I legitimately was like, oh man, what really? So I went to his Twitter. He hasn't posted since 2023. I could not find an Instagram for him. So I don't know anything. I don't know about this, but I'd like to know more. If somebody has like a link that they can provide and like a timestamp for like a Wrestle Talk show or podcast or something, that'd be cool.
Yep. Old Cheese says Triple H going MIA and not being at Raw.
So on Pat McAfee, he was on there along with Tyrese Halliburton, and Halliburton was like, "Hey, Vaquero wasn't even at Raw the other night. They didn't do the contract signing." And then Triple H said, "Oh, they didn't do that. I haven't watched Raw yet. I was doing Kill Tony." So
he was doing that's a podcast, that dude's podcast,
the Tony
right?
Hinchcliffe podcast. Yeah.
All right. JMC says the Sandman comes out in an indie event with the kendo stick made of sandwiches. Tell me more about this. Do you know more about this?
So I only know this. I think Mike sent me like a picture of this. So I'll send it to you really quick. I'm pretty sure it's in my text thread with him. And I'll be honest with you.
Oh, I got it. I see it here.
Yeah, it was a kendo stick made of hoagies.
Yeah, he's got the bread taped around the kendo stick.
No clue what the context is here. Don't care what the context is here. I loved it. I saw this and I was like, is this AI at first? And then, but evidently it's real. It's the real deal.
Yeah, Fightful has a story about it. So
Yeah.
Amazing.
Again, I don't even care what the context is. I love it. Do I even want? I'd prefer just to make up my own story, to be honest with you.
Imagine this. It's 1996. You're in the ECW arena. Enter Sandman, starts blaring through the sound system. Sandman emerges from the crowd, and rather than a can of beer, he's got his kendo stick wrapped in hoagies, and he's taking a bite off the sandwich that's on his kendo stick, offering it up to other people like he would the beer.
Well,
does he get his over doing that gimmick as opposed to swigging beer?
You still need a beverage, and back then I feel like Subway sandwiches you'd always drink a Snapple with it.
Yeah,
Snapple was big back then.
Yeah.
So he comes out with a Snapple, the little tat,
Yeah,
and then he looks at it and then he pours it in his face and he's eating the hoagie and doling out hoagies to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have moved to Philly if I knew that was the case. I've been like, who is this guy? I mean, I didn't even know about ECW back then, but
So I guess the sand in Sandman would be short for
Sandwich
sandwich. Sandwich Man.
yeah, Surfer Sandwich Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Anyway,
What a great idea.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's 30 years too late, to be honest with you. Should have been
guess
doing that
so.
shit ages ago.
I know. I guess we got to bring back the E-Fed, huh?
Isn't it wild how, like, Sandman really comes off as a pretty healthy guy? Like, how is it that him and, who was the ref? Bill Alfonso? Bill Alfonso looks amazing. He looks better than he did back in 98. Sandman looks great, too.
He does. He does.
That's awesome.
He does. All right, let's talk about Dynamite. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. There was some good wrestling, some story development. We had a heel turn at the end.
What was the heel turn? What happened?
Daniel Garcia is a member of Death Riders now, seemingly.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that one, I saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah, after you told me what happened.
Mox's obsessed with that guy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was, it's regular AEW.
It was interesting hearing the crowd as engaged in the show as what they were, considering this is the third straight Dynamite from the ECW arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, the worry is we do such a long residency, 3 weeks, 6 episodes, that you're going to be facing the same crowd over and over again. They'll get a little worn out. Let's get a little tired. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But if this crowd is any indication, didn't necessarily seem to be the case because they were engaged and into the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was fine. I mean, dude, All Out is looking to be, I'm sure it'll be a really good pay-per-view in terms of the wrestling involved. I think it'll be really good. But, it's not the most exciting lineup. It's
What
not
you're trying to say it's not a WrestlePalooza.
Well, no, man. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have like AEW's marquee lineup that they can put on. I mean, 2 of their biggest dudes are gone, so you can't do much about that. I mean, if that's going to be kind of the problem is you look at the landscape of AEW right now for Hangman Adam Page, and not a lot of options that they seem willing to go with. Bobby Lashley's not going to lose to him. And they don't even really seem interested in doing a whole lot. Who did Shelton Benjamin took on? Who did he take on?
Ricochet last night.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They're in the thing. That's right. They got the thing with the Gates of Agony and Ricochet, which is like, okay, like not exactly the best. Like Ricochet should be doing single stuff. Lashley should be doing single stuff. Like I feel like they're not making the most of the names that they have.
I wonder, it's kind of the double-edged sword with having a roster as kind of deep as what they have with a lot of potential main eventers. It's pretty obvious Tony Khan really wants to focus on future foundational pieces of AEW. That's why Hangman and Darby and MJF are the focus of so much. Mm-hmm. And if Ospreay and Swerve weren't hurt and still on TV, they'd be the focus as well.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Because I think in Tony Khan's mind, that's who Tony Storm, Chris Statlander, Willow. These are the talents that Tony Khan wants to build the company around, not just today, but 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's putting in the effort to build them up. But at the same time, it's the tricky situation where you think, oh, Hangman versus Lashley, that'd be a good feud. That could be some interesting stuff. But if it's a situation where Lashley's very protective of his character, doesn't want to lose, then it puts Tony Khan in a bind where he can't book that match.
Well, it's also, you got to be careful with some of those because, like, I mean, I mentioned Lashley just because he's a name. And, yeah, I don't know if you really want to go, like, with Hangman versus a former WWE guy. But also, like, in addition to what you're talking about, crowd loves Lashley. You know? I mean, it's like trying to present a bad guy, but he's really a good guy because people just love him. That's a hard situation.
At this point, Hurst and the Kid aren't even positioned as the heels right now.
Yeah, they're not.
Ricochet and the Gates of Agony are the heels in this feud.
Yeah, but like if they had continued to build Ricochet up as a singles guy, you know, like he'd have been perfect to step into the place right here, Hangman versus Ricochet, if they'd continue to build him up because the match is really good.
Well, I mean, Fletcher versus Hangman be really good too.
No, that's going to be really good, but I'm saying Ricochet is more established.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
Fletcher's a TNT champion for a reason. He's a TNT champion level guy. I mean, he's better than TNT champion level guy, which is why they have him at World Championship. But like, I don't know. It's just, you know, it's AEW. I feel like they need to get, you know, like Hangman's promo was fine last night, but like, I don't know. It's the same thing you and I have been talking about with both promotions right now. Where are the big moments where you're like, oh shit, where's that?
Well, I think Garcia turning heel was supposed to be a low level one of those.
Yeah, maybe.
And it was going good until when he stomped Darby and it was supposed to be on the chair and it wasn't on the chair, and so Mox had to go over there and tell him to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like the Philly street fight between Sky Blue and Tony Storm, great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hangman versus Josh Alexander was awesome. The main event was a lot of fun. You know, the little story about Mox going up to the Young Bucks and trying to motivate them to win by saying, you two can split the entire $500,000 purse.
I like that. The Young Bucks.
Death Riders won't take a cent. Show up and win. The little details I really enjoy. But yeah, there's both shows lack those huge holy shit moments that make you anticipated or make you want to watch the show the next week, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, like we mentioned, so we got this Hangman. He's in a thing with the Don Callis family. So we had a Josh Alexander match, which was, like you said, very, very good.
Oh, it was really good, yeah.
Hangman gets the win with Buckshot, and then he gets on the mic, and he says, you know, I didn't spill a gallon of blood to win the AEW title just to have somebody like MJF change the stipulation in matches. I didn't give everything I had to win the title just to have every single opponent have some dickhead, he said, phallus-headed dumbass like Don Callis with them. He said, the most important word in AEW is wrestling, and that's what I'm here to do. So Kyle Fletcher comes out. Heyman goes on a pretty long promo where he basically says, you know, you can do this. You can win the world championship, but you should do it on your own.
He also says, I don't think you're ready. So apparently Hangman's in agreement with Stevie Richards. Says, Kyle, go to NXT for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do 2 years there. Come back.
See, Kyle, I see you plateauing, maybe regressing. That's a possibility. And then go to NXT and then come back perhaps. So Fletcher says, yeah, I've heard that I'm not ready my entire career. I'm 26 years old. I haven't reached my prime yet, but I'll decide when that is. And it's right now. He says, I'm ready to carry the weight of the company on my shoulders. I'm ready to be champ right now. So Paige says, you know, if you want to be this, if you want to be champ, if you want to be somebody who can carry this company for decades, then I'll give you that shot. He says, but there's something I need from you. I need you to do it yourself. He says, I need you to earn it, to face me at All Out, leave the Callis family in the back, and I need you to find some socks. Because Kyle Fletcher never wears socks. But that's a fashion choice there, Hangman. So anyways, Kyle says, he says, oh, you think that's going to make a difference? I don't need anybody to beat you. He says, I'll give you my word, but at All Out, I'm leaving with the title. I'm not going to fail like you did 6 years ago. And then later on, Kyle and Callis have an interview with Shivani. Callis says, I got such faith in Kyle. He doesn't need anybody out there interfering for him. He says he's going to bring the title home for the family. Kyle says it's 2 weeks away. I promise you, Don, that I'm going to bring it home. Let me ask you this. What's going to be the ramifications of Kyle Fletcher when Kyle Fletcher loses to Hangman Adam Page? Will there be ramifications? It's going to be a story beat right here. Is he going to be, seen as the guy in the Callis family who couldn't get the job done?
In some respects, it's a bummer. Now that you mentioned that it's not either Takeshita or Okada facing Hangman. Because when, say it's Okada loses, then Takeshita get in his face and be like, Rainmaker, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa, if Takeshita was to lose, Okada could say, some alpha. That would have been pretty interesting to explore those dynamics. If Kyle Fletcher loses, I just kind of feel like they'll just move on past it. That's kind of what I feel like.
One thing we can talk about, because I don't notice it here in the notes, is they have this mini tournament for the unified title triple threat.
Yeah, it was confusing because the first match was Okada versus
Michael Oku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Michael Oku won that match, then he would be unified champion?
I think he gets the shot at the unified championship before Okada, or does he merely then get to compete? I think the idea is he then gets to compete for the unified championship.
Well, I don't know, because it was a triple threat match, and there was 3 matches to fill in the 3 open spots in the bracket. So it kind of seemed like if Okada loses that match, he loses the title, Michael Oku would be unified champion walking into All Out.
Is it that, or if he loses it, the title simply vacates until the triple threat is decided?
I mean, Okada's not losing. It's a moot point, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
I get you, but this is funny, weird Tony Khan shit.
Yeah.
Why does Michael Oku get? That's why I think the next time the title's on the line is in the triple threat. It's a difference between, is Michael Oku gonna have whatever that would be, like a 2-week run as champion where he does not defend it until he puts it on the line, so it kind of doesn't matter anyways. It's the difference between his name being in the books or his name not being in the books.
Yeah.
Which is silly, because if he beats Okada, your goddamn name should be in the books.
Yeah.
Of course it should be. But it didn't say that was the title match.
No, it didn't. But then also, if it's a triple threat, does it make sense that it's a non-title match? If Oku wins, he advances to triple threat. Okada wouldn't be in it.
Yeah, Okada wouldn't be in it. It would just be a vacant
there'd be no title
title
on the line.
Well, that title would be on the line.
It's confusing as all get out.
You're right. He loses it, but he doesn't lose it to Michael Oku. He loses it to the triple threat.
Without ever, it's confusing.
It's
a situation where
it goes off him, but it doesn't go on to anybody until the triple threat.
Well, that's the assumption. Is that, all right, Okada, you lost in a non-title match. We're stripping you the title. That doesn't make any sense. So it could be defended by 3 people who aren't champion. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm glad we're on the same page with this one.
It's a situation where it's clear as day. All right, Okada's going to win.
Hold on, let me see. It totally is. And then you have another foregone conclusion. I think it's Takeshita versus. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Takeshita versus Anthony Bowens. Takeshita wins that.
And the other one's
Masker
Frank
Dorada versus Frank Martos.
Yeah. Which, I don't know who's going to win that one.
Okay, so according to this, and this is simply Wikipedia, and there's no reference here, the qualifying match between Oku and Okada will also be a championship defense.
All right, that makes sense then. That's the only way it makes sense.
When is that? Is that happening on a Dynamite?
So next 3 weeks, I think.
Collision and September to Remember. I think the Martos Dorada match was at September to Remember.
Yeah, that's the last one because it had a different logo than the other ones.
And the other one might be a Collision
9 days
next week. I don't know. It was just funny the way they put that. The graphic was hilarious. I literally, Excalibur just talk, and then I had to rewind it because I couldn't concentrate, and I paused it. I was like, "Fuck is going on here with this?
Yeah.
What? Why is the title over there? It doesn't say it's a title defense."
This is so overly complicated. Let's talk about this Philly street fight. Steve, where's this Philly street fight at?
in Philadelphia, bitch.
Thank you. This match was tons of fun. At one point, Sky Blue gets a staple gun from under the ring.
One day we should do a count out as the top 10 greatest wrestling tweets of all time.
We should.
Is number one the creation of AEW? the
Could
bet?
be.
The all-in?
Could be.
Let's try to do this right now. The all-in bet's number one. I got this cleaners number two.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ricky Stark saying to Brian Cage in Philly, "You big dumb bitch," it has to be on there.
Yeah, that's got to be. I think that's probably number three. There's got to be a Hogan. What about the Hogan one where he thought Bam Margera was dead?
Yeah, or the one about being worked into a shoot.
There might be enough for like. There's probably a couple Hogan ones worked into a shoot. There's got to be an Iron Sheik one.
I'm sure.
Isn't there like one where he said like always fuck the Hulk Hogan or something like that?
I feel like that's half the things that was tweeted from that account. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There might be a Drew McIntyre one. He was on quite a run.
Drew was on a good run, yeah. Anyways, if anybody has any other wrestling tweets that deserve to be all-timers, let us know. But I think we nailed the top three.
I think so.
I got this cleaner is so fucking hilarious. It's outrageous.
I know.
It's fucking outrageous.
So good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
back
maybe
CM Punk Saudi.
Saudi
tweet that deserves to be on there. Yeah. That totally deserves to be on there. That does. Oh, remember when the fucking plane wasn't taken off in Saudi, and I think like somebody posted a selfie. I think it was like Luke Harper took.
Yeah, I think Luke Harper tweeted from the plane.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, get back to the street fight. At one point, Sky Blue gets a staple gun from around the ring and staples Tony in her butt.
Yeah, and then her boobs.
Yeah, the boobs and then the crotch.
Yeah.
And then later, Tony gets the staple gun and staples Sky Blue in her butt.
Yeah.
We had a table covered in mouse traps.
Yeah.
During this match. In the end, though, Tony escapes a Code Blue, throws a chair in Sky Blue's face, hits Sky Blue with a hip attack with a sign over, falls with Storm Zero on a chair to get the win. Afterwards, Tekla and Julia Hart run in to lay out Tony. Statlander runs out to try to make the save, but she's overwhelmed by the Triangle of Madness, and Jamie Hayter runs out. She lays out Julia and Tekla. She's looking for a clothesline on Julia, but Julia ducks it. Statlander eats it. And then Julia trips up Jamie Hayter. Tekla hits Tony with a spear. But following that bout, we had a Willow interview. Mm-hmm. And Willow says, pro wrestling is a nutty world. I'm here to do the best I can to make it a good place. And people defy that. I take issue with it. There's one person who just seems to can't get it through their skull, and that's Marina Shafir. But then Harley Cameron busts in with her guitar and a proposition. She sings a song about making amends with Chris Statlander. Mm-hmm. And then painting a cat on Willow's face. And Willow says, as great as having a cat painted on my face would be, I've been down that road with Statlander before. You need to watch your back.
Yeah. Sowing some seeds of division or just trying to help a potential friend. I don't know.
I mean, one might lead to the other.
Yeah, maybe. We also had a $500,000 all-star tag match. So first up, the Young Bucks, they have an interview back in catering about their $550,000 tag match.
Yeah, you got to point out every typo I make in the notes, don't you?
You know what's funny is that not until I was actually reading it did I realize that wait, it's only 500,000. Ask them. She's like, for two guys who really need the money, what you're gonna do with it? And he's like, oh, that's great. Rub it in. Matt says, we're going to get some DoorDash from a nice steakhouse. Imagine getting DoorDash from a steakhouse.
Yeah, by the time the steak gets to you, it's cold.
Yeah, no good. Yeah. Nick says he's going to go gamble at the casino, specifically the slot machines. Starts listing off a bunch of them. He says, look, we're busy. And they try to take a seat at catering next to the Dark Order and Vanilla Baby. And they're like, no, these seats are taken. So they sit down. They find Brandon Cutler. Cutler says, one thing I've always wanted to tell you, shut up, Young Bucks. And then he leaves. He's like, it felt so good. And they're like, even Cutler. So Mox comes over. He's like, hey, Young Bucks, listen, You guys won. Nothing changed. Nothing changed around here. You're still the best tag team in the world. How about this? Show up to win. You each get $250,000. So, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Later on, we got a promo from Hook. He's, like, on a rooftop, like a rooftop bar or something.
Got, like, a fire pit in front of him.
Like a lounge pit, yeah.
Yeah.
He says, I've appreciated everything Joe's done for me, and I appreciate Joe saying he always got my back. He said, this is how it works, though. You get hurt, it's next man up. It's time for me to stand on my own. Or maybe not. Who's going to stand with Hook?
I don't know.
Who's going to be Hook's Robin or his Batman? I don't know what he is.
That's a good question because he does have the Hook signal. I don't know. So then we had the main event, $500,000 tag team match. You had the Young Bucks teaming with Death Riders take on Brodito and the Ops. This match was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
So the Young Bucks steal the win. So they, let me see here. So Young Bucks are looking for a Meltzer driver on Bandito. He escapes. He shoves Matt into Nick. Nick's on the apron. So then Bandito's looking to do a flip on Matt, but instead Nick grabs his feet as Matt rolls up Bandito to get the win. So they grab the bag of cash and are trying to get away from the ringside area as quickly as possible. Then Brody King blasts him from behind. So the Young Bucks and Brodito end up brawling to the back. I'm guessing that's going to be your tag team title match at All Out. The Death Riders are beating down the Ops. Darby's music hits. He sprints to the ring, goes after Mox, while Joe and Shibata yank Yuta and Claudio out of the ring. Darby drop kicks Mox in the corner when he gets laid out from behind by mystery individual who reveals themselves to be Daniel Garcia. So Mox tells Marine to bring a chair in the ring. She places it on the mat. Garcia stomps Darby's face near the chair. Mox tells him to do it again. He does it again. And then Garcia starts stomping on and hammering Darby a bunch until Marina pulls him off. Oops. And then Mox pats him on the back and leads him out. And they exit through the crowd.
Maybe now with Garcia and the crew, we'll actually start getting some character dynamics and interaction between the, Death Riders. Maybe this will spark something here.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
This is a really cool promo from MJF. A lot of fire behind it. This guy's he's so good on the fucking mic, and especially with these little backstage things they do. Not surprising this guy's going Hollywood.
Yep.
He says I hate Mark Briscoe so much. How much did you hate him? He says that I left my home the day after my wedding. My wife was like, "Honey, where are you going? You can't go." And she's like, "We got our honeymoon." He's like, "There will be no honeymoon until Mark Briscoe's dead." He says, I told my wife that I was married long before you. He says, "I'm married to the game, to vengeance, to ending you, Mark." He said, "Collision, I'm going to walk down that aisle and tell Mark, I do, when you deliver whatever stipulation you got." It was so well done. This is such a good fiery promo.
It was.
Good
it
feud
was good
between these guys.
Yeah, it's good, fiery, to the point.
What do you think the reveal on Collision's going to be?
You asked me that already.
I'm asking you again.
Ladder War.
Hey, MJF, time for ladder war.
And MJF's like, what are we going to put above the ring?
Yeah,
ladder war.
Yeah. He's like, I was watching Going on Raw the other day. Steve made a good point. What the hell are we going to put above the ring? Don't matter. Is it a pin? Pin? Why am I climbing a ladder then?
Put the Dynamite Diamond Ring up there.
Well, I mean, you'll find out on Monday in my Collision review, Larson.
Maybe I'll watch Collision too, Steve.
What?
I did
say
start
Larson watch Collision. You say I do.
I did try to watch NXT, but I couldn't get through 10 minutes of it.
Brother, I honestly don't. And I know there's friendos out there who might be a little on the sad side that we're not doing NXT anymore. I don't know what it is. Whenever I see a clip, like, the DIY comes out and Carmelo, it reunites with Trick. I can't be bothered to care, and I don't know why. It does nothing for me. I don't know why. I don't know
either.
It's weird.
We had a tag match. Riho teaming with Alex Windsor, taking on Mercedes and Emi Sakura. Riho gets the win for her team. She puts a single leg crab on Emmy, while Winter has Mercedes and a sharpshooter out, kind of like by the apron. Emmy taps. Fun match, though. Really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff.
All the matches last night were really good.
This is a good one. Ricochet versus Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Shelton was beating the shit out of Ricochet for most of it. So
was.
Before the match, though, we have an interview with Ricochet in Gates of Agony. Ricochet tells her syndicate, says, I know you're cowards, so how about we make an agreement? I'll leave my dudes in the back. Shelton, you leave your dudes in the back. We can go one-on-one. And then he says, when we get our hands raised at All Out, Hurt Syndicate, you'll have to respect us. So Renee asks Hurt Syndicate for comment. As MVP is about to answer, Shelton says, I got it. He says he agrees to Ricochet's agreement. Says, if you can leave your dudes in the back, I'll leave my dudes in the back. So the match happens. Really good. Shelton's beat the shit out of Ricochet. So then Ricochet gets the advantage. He pulls out the scissors. Tries to stab Shelton with them. Shelton stops him. Drops Ricochet with a clothesline and then breaks the scissors apart with his bare hands.
Yeah.
So then Gates of Agony come to ringside. Bishop Khan distracts the refs so Toa Leona could headbutt Shelton. Then Ricochet rolls him up to get the win. MVP and Lashley run out to ringside, start brawling, while Ricochet's in the ring celebrating his win. And then Shelton hits him with a super kick, and this bunch of security pours out to break it all up.
Yep. Yeah, this was awkward. So FTR.
Yeah, this was a really weird segment.
We get a video package to kick things off, which was pretty well done. It wasn't when you don't have any Edge and Christian footage from WWE, you only have
one still.
They had did they have one still from their WWE?
They had
time?
one still of them with the WWE tag titles. It looked like.
Oh, they did. Okay, all right. I thought it
they
predated
had some tag
that.
champion. Maybe they did, but it had some tag championship.
Yeah, I saw the tag champions. I was just like, was this right before they went to WWE? I don't know. In any event, they do their best to they talk about all their championships and stuff. They don't mention WWE. But anyways, they do a video package. And then Stokely interrupts, says, oh, that video package was bullshit. He says, what happens in Toronto isn't going to be a dream match. It's going to be a fight. That the greatest tag team in the world today is going to win. Every single week I hear the same thing. Shut up, Stokely. You don't get any hoes, Stokely. I look around the ring and I see a bunch of people who look like extras on Roseanne. He says, we're all ain't nobody in this place getting any hoes. So then, that was great. But then Dax gets on the mic and is like, this should have been a dream match. I dare someone to jump the barricade and fight me. And then he steps up to a dude sitting ringside, talks shit to him, walks up the ramp talking more shit. Cash gets in a guy's face. He's like, it was Dax. It was the same dude. Cash got into this dude's face, and I was like, it must be a plan or something. Then Dax got in the same guy's face. And then turns around, the cameraman gets too close, and so Dax sort of turns around and punches him from the first-person perspective, or from the cameraman's perspective, anyways. Not Dax's, that'd be weird. And then
Sam Raimi movie, then, at that point. And then Dax throws up in the cameraman's mouth.
Yeah, and then they just start beating up on the production people. It's got no heat though. The crowd did not give a shit about this. It was just sort of awkward and quiet.
Yeah, it was weird and awkward. I didn't get it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it was supposed to be a moment.
Oh, I know. It's FTR is so unhinged. They're beating up production staff.
Yeah, but
you want FTR to be unhinged? Dax throws up in somebody's mouth.
Maybe they'll take that suggestion and do it next week.
Next week.
If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, go watch a early Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah, or even that, Drag Me to Hell? Is that his movie?
Drag Me to Hell had
there was all sorts
throwing
of throwing up in people's mouths in that movie, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, would you like to answer some questions?
I didn't see any question threads.
Did I not put one up, really?
I didn't notice. I didn't see them.
Let me double check. Maybe I didn't put up on the Patreon. Maybe I didn't put it up in either. Holy shit. I think I did the thing where I started to.
Yeah, you hit post, huh?
You know what it was? Sometimes I do this. I start to put up a question thread, and I want to get a little bit more ambitious with it. So I'm like, today that's what it was. I started to look at the notes because I was like, today we're going to talk about this so that they can direct their questions in a more direct way.
Yeah, pointed way, yeah.
Addressing what we're talking about. And then I went and I saw the what do you want to talk about segment, and I was like, oh man, we need more than this. And so when I started pulling a bunch of shit over from the what do you want to talk about thread, forgot about questions. No questions today, Larson.
No questions today. Sorry, everybody.
We're already at an hour and 14 minutes, almost an hour and 15 minutes. I think that's good. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.